Elbe Hills ORV Park needs your help. What simple thing you can do that won't cost you a dime, and much more on this week's Warren Report. Hey everyone, I'm Will from Washington Offroad Recovery Network. In today's top story, Elbe Hills ORV Park is seeking support from the public. A portion of Elbe Hills funding is from grant money. Now, these grants must be applied for every couple of years. So, my question is, what would happen if the grant's application fails? Well, should funding not become available, the worst case scenario is that certain trails will need to be closed and staffing may need to be reduced. Now, I'm told that this is primarily dependent on maintenance costs within the park. Unfortunately, every time trails close, this puts more stress on other trails, not only within that system, but even in other parks. But here's how you can help. All you need to do is write the Elbe Hills manager a letter or send him an email, and I will leave his instructions in the description below. Oh, and if you could stop making bypasses and picking up trash, that couldn't hurt maintenance costs. So now more than ever, our recreational trails are under threat. Even very popular places like Moab are not immune from closures. So it's very important to support these parks as much as we can. Without our support, our children may not have the same freedoms as we do. Now, this main story is a retraction. There was a misunderstanding on some of the key facts. I'm not doing these segments for clicks or likes. I want to be as accurate as possible. And unlike the mainstream media, I have enough integrity to correct any mistakes that are made. I pulled the original story as soon as I was informed of the mistake, and I apologize for any confusion. I would have had this done sooner, except my power was out and my internet was down. So I fixed it as quickly as possible. Now, back to the rest of the story. But speaking of Elbe, the recreational manager also wants to let everyone know that they will not be accepting reservations for November 10th through the 18th of 2024. Now, this is due to King of Elbe. If you've never been to King of Elbe, it is a great time. This year, King of Elbe will be held on the 16th of November, and while the trails are technically open during the events, it will be pretty crowded, so just be aware of that. This year, 35 contestants will be fighting for the best time against the unforgiving boat ramp. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see Bam Lee yeet his giant, crazy side-by-side up the ramp. Bam's going to be down helping out a race team on the Baja 1000. Good luck in Baja, Bam, and we will catch you next year. In industry news, we have finally gotten to take a look at the Kia Tasman without its Tostitos tortilla chip inspired wrap. Now, if you think that this looks familiar, you aren't alone. It does look suspiciously like the Trail Hunter. It seems like everyone is trying to copy Toyota's styling these days. Now, there is a question as to whether or not the Tasman will be available in the U.S. market. Now, while Kia says that they don't intend for a U.S. release of the Tasman did spend the majority of its road testing in California throughout the summer. Either way, let's just hope the Tasman is harder to steal than a Sorento, otherwise we may see the Kia boys out on the trail. In Section 1, we are still dealing with the Williams mine fire. I'm be honest, I'm having issues finding the current status of the fire. However, even if the fire has been put out since last week, it's best to give this area some time. Crews may still be in the area doing mop-up. Now, for Section 2. Unfortunately, the Navy did disclose the pilot and Wizzo of that crashed E-18 from last week are deceased. The Navy has asked for assistance from the National Guard to limit access to the area. This containment area is along Nelson Ridge between Bumping Lake and Rife Lake. So this should not affect travel on WABDR Section 2. Just be advised that there will be lots of activity in this area. We are coming to a close here in week 43. We did have a very technical recovery on the 18th in zone 7. This 4Runner rolled 70 feet down this hill before coming to a hard stop on its side against a tree. After the Toyota was righted, it was lowered another 150 feet to a switchback below. The driver was pretty beat up, but he's otherwise okay. The owner plans to turn this 4Runner into a full-time wheeler, so maybe it turned out for the best. Special thanks to the volunteers from Screech Owl Garage for their help. They made this look really easy. This recovery is Warren's 80th so far this year. So far, our volunteers have logged over 13,137 miles and 652 hours on missions. Now, I would love to hear from you. Send me some pictures from your latest trip. Tell me where you went. Make sure to include social media tags if you want me to share those with everybody. Also, if you have any updates on trail conditions or closures, I would love to read those. Part of the goal of these weekly reports is to make it easier for you to plan your next adventure. The information is spread out through multiple outdated government websites. Some of these contradict themselves. We always try to gather the latest information and reports possible, and the best way to get that is from people like you. So drop me a line at reports@washingtonoffroadrecovery.org. Yep, super long. I'm just going to leave it in the link's description. That is all for now. If you'd like to hear more from us, subscribe for future reports and future content. Until next time, tread lightly, and I'll see you on the trail.